the First World War, a global conflict. It left scars, both visible and unseen. For the soldiers of Australia, many returned home forever changed. They had faced the horrors of war. They yearned for peace and a place to rebuild their lives. The Australian government, in an effort to provide for these veterans, offered them land. Vast tracts in Western Australia were opened up for farming. It was a promise of a fresh start, a chance to cultivate a future from the land. Many veterans, eager for a new beginning, accepted the offer. They arrived in Western Australia ready to face the challenges of farming. Little did they know a different kind of battle awaited them. This was not a war fought with guns and grenades. This was a war against an unlikely foe, the emu. The emu, a flightless bird native to Australia, is an imposing creature. Standing up to 6 feet tall, they roamed the outback in large numbers. Normally, emus and farmers coexisted peacefully. However, the influx of new settlers disrupted this balance. The farmers cleared land for crops, encroaching on the emus' natural habitat. The emus, drawn to the cultivated fields, discovered a bountiful source of food. Wheat and other crops became an irresistible temptation for the large birds. What began as a nuisance soon escalated into a full-blown crisis. The emus, in their hundreds, descended upon the farmers' fields. They devoured crops and trampled seedlings, leaving a trail of devastation in their wake. The farmers, already struggling to make a living, faced ruin. Their crops, their livelihood, were being decimated by the relentless emu hordes. Desperate times call for desperate measures. The farmers, facing economic ruin, turned to the government for help. They pleaded for assistance in combating the emu plague. The government, heeding the farmers' pleas, decided to take action. The solution? Military intervention. The government authorized the deployment of soldiers armed with Lewis machine guns, their mission to cull the emu population and protect the farmers' crops. Thus began the Great Emu War of 1932. It was a clash of man versus bird, a battle that would capture the world's imagination. The soldiers, veterans of a very different kind of war, were tasked with this unusual enemy. They set out into the Western Australian outback, ready to confront the emu menace. What they encountered was a challenge unlike anything they had ever faced. Section 4: Shots in the Sand. The Emu War's unsung heroes. The emus, it turned out, were not easy targets. They proved to be surprisingly resilient and intelligent adversaries. The soldiers quickly discovered that their machine guns were largely ineffective against the birds. The emus scattered at the first sound of gunfire, making them difficult to hit. The soldiers found themselves outmaneuvered and outsmarted by the emus. The birds seemed to be everywhere and nowhere at the same time. They would appear suddenly, wreaking havoc on crops, and then vanish into the vast expanse of the outback. One account tells the story of a particularly cunning emu. This bird, seemingly unfazed by the soldiers' presence, would calmly approach a machine gun nest. It would wait for the soldiers to reload, then casually stroll away unharmed. Section 5: Retreat and Re-Evaluation, a Humorous Defeat. The Great Emu War, despite its serious intentions, quickly descended into farce. The soldiers' efforts to control the emu population proved largely unsuccessful. Newspapers across the globe, initially reporting on the military operation with a straight face, began to poke fun at the situation. The Australian government, facing mounting criticism and ridicule, decided to withdraw the soldiers. The Great Emu War, after just a few weeks of skirmishes, came to an end. The emus had won. They remained, as they always had, a dominant force in the Australian outback. The emu's victory, though comical, highlighted the resilience of nature. It served as a reminder that human intervention in the natural world often has unintended consequences. Section 6: Beyond the Battlefield, the Legacy of the Great Emu War. The Great Emu War, despite its comical nature, holds a unique place in Australian history. It is a story often told with a chuckle, a reminder of the unexpected challenges that life and nature can throw our way. The legacy of the Emu War extends beyond the battlefield. It has inspired countless books, songs, and even a video game. The emus, once seen as pests, have become unlikely heroes. They represent the tenacity and resilience of the natural world. The Great Emu War serves as a cautionary tale. It reminds us of the importance of understanding and respecting the delicate balance of nature. It teaches us that sometimes the best way to win a war is to avoid fighting it in the first place.